russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. Lions, Tigers, Bears, and head.
When he went on TV, that Dynamite after the scrum, he just cut a pre-tape sitting backstage where he said, I've had to vacate the titles and the trios title and the AEW title, and we're going to have a tournament to determine new champions. Right. So he never said why, whether he would have given the real reason or just come up with one for TV purposes. There was no reason provided. So you have the fans that maybe don't follow the internet, who watch the pay-per-view. Now, I don't know if there is a lot of those, but there could be, right?
But so, whatever ones there are, to your point, and I don't mean to interject, but to your point, I know where you're going with this, and that is it leaves, again, and this is a major hole for so many companies that now market to just that independent, that mindset of wrestling fan who's on the internet, that's our audience, and everyone's guilty of doing it, is that you leave major logical holes in your product. At the very least, the pat answer that he should have given, because I've had to address it myself due to talent issues that have ranged from injuries to every other possible thing when a guy's got just got a title, and I always go out and address it and go, due to the fact that the athlete cannot uphold the responsibilities of being what's required of being a champion and a representative of the company, the title has been vacated, and therefore we have to take this action. And I always put it on the fact that the talent, the athlete, cannot uphold the responsibilities and requirements to be a champion or the representative of the company. And that covers right there, really, in kind of a worked and shoot way, what actually did take place with CM Punk and with the Trios champions is that they could not uphold the responsibilities of being a champion. Contrary to popular belief, to all the wrestlers that are listening out there, one, you don't really win a title, all right? Two, it does mean something, and it is a compliment, and it is an honor for the company to give it to you. Three, they're entrusting that with you to be a representative of the company. And four, you genuinely have the responsibility to represent that company in the best possible light that represents all of your fellow performers in the locker room. And the reason that you were given that title was because it was thought that it would allow you to be able to sell more tickets and draw more business. It wasn't just, oh, well, you worked hard and you deserve it. It was because we were doing it, giving it to you, because we wanted to use it to draw more money for everyone. And now you have a lot to carry. That's a big responsibility. It's not just, ooh, I get a title. Ooh, I get a title. It's now, ooh, I'm now kind of a leader in the locker room. I'm also a guy who now is responsible not just for myself anymore. I'm now responsible even that much more for everyone else and how they make a living. And that doesn't give you now carte blanche to go out and behave any way you like. In fact, it restricts you even that much more.
They've had a lot of either injuries or something occur when somebody's a champion. I can't tell you how many times they've had an interim champion. And CM Punk now, this was the second time he won the title and was the first time he was hurt, so they had the interim. This time he's stripped of it. What does that do to the psychology of the fan as far as the belt? I mean, these belts are supposed to be the reason all these people are wrestling, because they want to be the best. They want to be champion. Does that take away from the belt meaning something when this has happened so many times?
It definitely damages it. It definitely does, because you never give the audience a chance to develop either a relationship with that said champion or heat being a want or a need to see that champion get unseated. And to a point, you're all right. The titles do mean everything, but not just because you're the best. Let's never forget the concept of what it is we're really selling. And what we're really selling is that the professional wrestler is no different than a professional MMA fighter or a professional boxer. What do we mean by professional? That means profession, meaning that they do it for a living. Well, what does that mean? It means that they go out and compete for money. They get a purse. And you always want to not only just to be the best because you're an athlete and you're a competitor, but you want to win because, let's face it, you win, you get more money. you lose, you either don't get any money, you don't get as much as the guy that won. And when your livelihood is dependent on whether or not you win or lose, because that ultimately is the only thing we're trying to convince the audience of, you want to climb that ladder to where you get into title contention, because there's a hierarchy of titles, and you want to win one title to get yourself in contention to win the next one, to get yourself in contention for the next one, to not only prove that you are the best, but because once you've received those titles, then you are getting bigger paydays, you're getting more prominent matches, and you have more stroke within the promotion. Look at boxing. That's how boxing works. Look at MMA. That's how MMA works. And that very premise is what professional wrestling is supposed to be. The only reason, because we all get caught up and focus on all of the soap operatic angles and storylines that are done in the backstage area, the only reason those are done is to just give more personal credence and gravity to the win and the loss, other than just about winning a title, and to allow the audience to much more relate and have more heat, a desire to see the outcome, than just a matter of, oh, well, they're going to win this belt. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather are a perfect example. You know, it wasn't just about who was the best or what boxing was better than MMA, and that was a completely worked deal. I hope everyone realizes that. Completely worked deal. But they made it, when they cut promos, personal. Why? And Conor McGregor did that for a reason when he was in UFC. Because how many people paid to see now Conor McGregor either get beat or beat somebody because he cut promos and made everything personal. And it gave it that extra heat, just like what we do angles backstage for that same, and that concept, that premise is completely lost, because that, you know, it's now, and the reason that you see so many injuries, I feel, is because the athletes, the performers, again, it all comes down to, are trying to sell you what they do. And so as a result, if one person goes out there and they do XYZ, some video game-esque type move that requires both you and your opponent to work in perfect harmony, and the crowd reacts, and the people who write these critical reviews applaud it, and then you're rewarded by, of course, you get to be on TV more for doing it, and then you'll get to be in bigger matches because you're doing it. Well, then that inspires the rest of your undercard to take even bigger risks than what you did in doing what they think is the thing that's going to drive the bus for them. Instead of focusing on who they are and why they're doing it, you're going to see more and more of the focus being driven into what they do, and more physical risks being taken, thus creating more and more injuries.